TIFU by meeting my parents after a hookup. Today I ucked up. I don't think I'll ever be able to see my parents again after this out Offenbar *SS meant. Over the weekend I hooked up with a really hot guy and did the usual stuff. It ended with him *ooming and my *SS, then we went to bed. Now this is where the *UCK up happened, so I forgot Sunday morning I was supposed to be meeting my parents. I get a phone call waking me at 9 asking where I was. I'd overslept and had to drive to theirs quickly, so I threw on the dress I had worn the night before, quickly tidied my hair and set off. I got to my parents and had a coffee sat in the living room before we set off to the coast for the day. Then I feel it, his leaving my *SS with no notice. Right onto their cream sofa. Do I wait till they leave the room and try clean ITUP? I panicked and ran to the bathroom to clean myself up. I had to get rid of my pants and risk going commando as I now had hitty coating them. I came back into the room and apologized for running out on them so quickly. I go to sit down and see the discolored brownie wet patch I had left. My mum's face was livid. I apologized, said I had a bad stomach, cleaned ITUP and left. Now I don't think I can see my mum again ever. That was traumatic AF. TLDR had *null, then went to my parents, had cum leak out of me onto their cream sofa. Edit. Some people have mentioned about doing raw *null, especially on a random hookup. We'd had a few drinks and one thing led to another. He slipped whilst we were doing the deed and ended up ucking my ass. I quite enjoy it, so let him enjoy it as well.
TIFU by telling my boss that I made a $1,000 tip. I work in a restaurant and I was waiting on this older gentleman. He was a difficult and hard to please patron. Sent me back many times before he was satisfied. He was cold and unfriendly throughout our whole interaction, but I still gave him the best service I could even though I was having a bad day. Well, when he was done and ready to pay, he asked me how much I think my tip should be. I thought I'd get a laugh out of him by jokingly saying $1,000 at least and giggled, but he didn't find it funny. He just said fair enough and settled his bill. Next thing I knew, he pulls out $100 bills amounting to $1,000 from his wallet, hands them to him, then stood up to leave. I couldn't believe my eyes. I asked him if he was sure, and he nodded. I thanked him profusely and he just gave me a smile that faded as quickly as it came and went on his way. I was so excited that I went to tell my boss and the others who weren't busy what had just happened. We sometimes share stories about our interactions with our customers, especially when there is something that stands out. She thanked me, then said that she is sure that we all agree that it makes sense to split it equally amongst everyone. We are a family and our triumphs should be shared. I did want to share with everyone, but not an equal split. I felt like since it was my tip, I should have gotten the most of it, considering that we never share tips at all, but I let it go. TL. Doctor, I told my boss that I made a huge tip and she made me share it with everyone.
TIFU by buying an Amazon Fire Stick and linking photos of my peen. So I purchased a Fire Stick for a new, to me, 65-inch TV that I set up in my flat but didn't have smart TV functionality. I connected my account and dod my parents, brother and his new girlfriend, onder kid, and my neighbor and his wife over for dinner to watch the final round of the golf on Sunday. I was showing my dad around the TV and decided to grill a brisket for the event. As they all drank wine in the living room, I tended to the brisket which had been cooking for 8 hours, don't want to UCK that up, and was startled by my brother laughing his *SS off as he came out to the grill. "How's that brisket coming?" he asked. "It's a big piece of meat. Much bigger than yours." Thinking he was just being aic as usual, he was like, "Hey, you're not much of a photographer, are you?" Confused, I asked what he was talking about. At that moment, I could see my dad standing at the patio shaking his head with the Amazon remote in his hand. I could tell by his face he was upset. I know that look well. I always upset Dad. My neighbor then came out smirking and I knew something was up. "What?" I said. "Nice ick pics," my neighbor laughed. Still confused, I checked for my phone, which was on me. "What are you talking about?" Then my brother asked me if I knew that Amazon Photos is used as the screensaver for Fire TVs. I felt the blood rush out of my face. I have an Amazon photo account and the only thing I use it for is funny memes and pics my ex-girlfriend and I would share with each other. My family and neighbors were sitting drinking Winnie as photos of my most private moments adorned the living room in 65-inch HD quality. Everyone saw. F you Bezos. I'm absolutely humiliated. TLDR, bought a Fire Stick, and because it defaults to your photos as a screen share, everyone in my circle saw my Enos and girlfriends * oops. TIFU by asking for a * oob massage. I am currently staying at my parents' house, still to finish college, so it's not as expensive, but I moved downstairs to get out of my parents' way. I was hanging out with my boyfriend in my room when I asked him if he wanted to give me a * oob massage. It's that time of the month for me, so they're quite sore. He happily said yes and got to work. Whilst he's just fully palming both of my pubes, over shirt. My dad walks into my room without knocking to tell us that dinner is ready. He makes direct eye contact with both me and my boyfriend and stares at us for a couple seconds. My boyfriend never moved his hands from my chest, so he's just squeezing the Twin Peaks while staring at my dad like a deer in the headlights. My dad just said, "Dinner's ready," and walked out of my room. Didn't make eye contact when we got dinner. TLDR asked for an innocent * oob massage and dad walked in on it. TIFU by telling my boyfriend I've watched Snuff. So I, F18, told my boyfriend, M17, that a couple of years ago, I ended up watching murder tapes on the deep web. As somehow who is suffering from depression, I copped in possibly the worst possible methods for the past few years, but watching murder tapes is probably one of the worst things that I did multiple times. Not only is it highly but it is also probably disturbing to know as my boyfriend. My boyfriend has a fear of death, probably worse than the average person, especially because someone close to him passed away recently. Even as someone who browses YouTube, Netflix, etc. for hours, the moment it relates to true crime, death, dismemberment, etc., he will avoid the video at all cost. After I told him about this, he is severe disturbed and is avoiding me. TLDR. I told my boyfriend I have watched people get murdered to cope and now he's avoiding me. Edit 1. It said, for those who don't know what snuff is, the EASIESTWAY, to summarize, it is videos of people getting murdered, but I was corrected. Snuff is mostly a myth. Edit 2. It said the tapes were illegal, but IWAS corrected, it is only highly discouraged. TIFU, update, by getting tested to donate a kidney to my wife. Yes, I know I misspelled across. Yes, I do have bad grammar and spelling. Yes, I am stressed and freaking out. Yes, I can play the banjo. No, there was no genetic test when we got married. Our state stopped that in the 1990s. No, my wife has never been stuck in the dryer, but she once got stuck under the bed. Joke. The reason I did not go in too much detail is to try to not be so specific that I or my wife might be recognized. Well, the front page of Reddit didn't help with that. Thank you all for your comments and feedback. I didn't respond to them, Booty did read all of them. The reason her family couldn't donate was that close relatives had some medical issues that prevent them from donating. Examples: pressure, diabetes, cancer, heavy drinkers, and more. The further out we tested, the less % OFA match. I wanted to be tested because we needed to find someone. The doctor said it would be unlikely but wouldn't hurt to try. I was freaking out after I got the news and had to get outside advice. When the doc said that the percentage was abnormally high and that we might be related, I kind of zoned out and started to piece things together in my mind. My parents live 1,000 miles away. They met my in-laws a few times. Once at my wedding and when both my children were born. My children are fine. My daughter is incredibly smart for her age. My son is a handful and healthy. The way my adoption worked was when my bio mom gave birth to me, I was checked out and put in a different room. I was there but don't know how it officially worked. From what my parents explained, they were in that room waiting. They never met my bio mom in person. My bio mom only had a profile and picked them out of many candidates. I called my parents and told them that I needed talk now. Everything they knew about my bio mom. Told me that they had limited knowledge. They said she was a single mom that was 16 years old. The father was not in the picture. Also, I was born in a hospital 1 hour from where my wife was born. Like I said, limited knowledge. Growing up, I didn't want to find out about my bio parents. To me, my parents were always my parents. I knew I was adopted and that it was a closed adoption. I figure it wouldn't matter long term. I'm not going to do an additional at-home DNA test through any of the traditional testing sites like 23 or Ancestry due to personal reasons. Like the possibility of the family finding out. The doc-sidal of this to only me, not with my wife present. Some of the additional tests were done through the doctor, which was the CM test. I'm not an expert. DNA testing, they said it was like a 1900 plus CM match. This basically confirms one of my bio-parents is one of hers. It can also mean first cousins or aunt, uncle. I'm guessing her dad. When my kids were born, my parents brought photos of May as a baby and commented that I and my son looked a lot like my wife's dad. My son was easily explainable. But all three of us are a difference. I'm not going to bring this up ever. I might look at my Phil differently, but nothing will hopefully change. I hope none of the family goes on Reddita and connects the dots. I am donating my kidney to my wife. We have started the full process. That takes time and a lot of preparation. I plan on talking to my wife after the surgery and after recovery. We will decide what to do with our kids. If we are going to get them tested or ever tell them, I will not be leaving my wife. I love and will always be there for her. I made vows and I will keep them. I love her Marethan, I would a half-sister. TLDR, I'm donating my kidney to my wife who is most possibly my paternal half-sister.